Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Wednesday the 19th of April through to Tuesday the 25th of April 2023. So I trust this video finds you well. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is actually Thursday the 20th of April here at 10:49 a.m. So I didn't make it in yesterday. Yesterday was crazy, absolutely crazy day. So I'm very grateful to be here today. And I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. And a big thank you too to everyone that's purchased one of my new ceramics pieces that I've made that I've just released a few days ago. I really appreciate your support on that ceramics front as well. So thank you. Let's get ready to pull some cards for this week. I'll be using my combined Speed of Light Oracle cards with my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. These have been combined to make a deck of 110 cards, which are lots of fun to play with. You can find out more or grab yourself a deck of these on my website. They're sold separately. You can use them on their own or together. It's up to you. But I love them together, and I'll be using this combined deck to find the best cards for this week ahead. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone who's open to receiving. So I trust that Something Shared supports you. I recommend that you take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily at this time, and let the rest go. And let's see what happens with our cards today. So because I'm doing this on the Thursday when I usually record or stream on the Wednesday, I'm going actually back to Wednesdays. It's Thursday for me now, so I'm going back to the Wednesday, as I know some of you are in your Wednesday still, and plus it just gives us a bit of an anchor sort of card there for the week ahead. So last week's theme was the bee, the honeybee, and it especially talked about efficiency and doing things in an efficient manner and in an efficient way. So doing several tasks that work together and that sort of thing. So I know that definitely was applicable to me, so I don't know if it was to you as well. But we're turning our attention now to our new reading week, and I'm shuffling the cards and I'm asking the cards to show the majority of us what we need to know for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 19th of April through to Tuesday the 25th of April. And the best cards, based on the way I choose my cards, I trust will find their way to the top of the deck. And those best cards for this week, 2023, 19th to the 25th, 2023 of April, are these. And I'm just going to lay them face down here, and just bear with me a second. Okay, so I've got 4 across, sort of a little rainbow of 4 across the top, and then 3 along the bottom. We've got 2 Speed of Light and 5 Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. Let's turn these guys over. Okay, interesting. We've got 2 featured timing cards, which is interesting. So first of all, we have the Stellar Cycle. This talks about 1 year, and it has further instructions here which say to take the 4th card from the top of the deck. So I go back to my deck, and I'm just going down to card number 4 from the top, which is this guy in here. It's the Butterfly. Well, that's good. And we've got another featured timing card, which is Seasonal Cycle. And this has further instructions here, which say to take the 3rd card from the top of the deck. So I go down to 1, 2, and 3 here. Oh, the Ladybug. Well, excellent. All right, so we have some cards here that we haven't seen for a while, so this will be interesting. This actually shows when we get different cards that come up, because there tends to be cards that come up fairly regularly for a period of time. It could be a couple of weeks or a couple of months where we see the same cards kind of repeating themselves, and we don't see certain cards for some time. So if you're fairly new to watching my videos, maybe the last couple of months, there might be cards that come up here that you've never seen before. So this is a really good sign in general, and it's showing us that we're shifting out of something. We're shifting out of an energy space or a phase that we've been in. And I don't know about you, but I found last week, and in fact specifically yesterday, extremely healing, like massively healing, revealing day. And I remember last week talking a lot about depth and really having this opportunity to move deeper into ourselves so we could get to know ourselves better. And I've certainly been tapping into that. So there has been a shift that's occurred. Let's look firstly at Wednesday. So this is yesterday for me, and maybe some of us, but it may be today for you. We're looking at Wednesday, the 19th of April, and we have the unicorn. Now, the unicorn's usually fairly consistent. It comes up fairly regularly in general when I'm doing these sorts of things, but I don't think it's really come up much, maybe once in the last few months. So we haven't seen this card for a while. It's card 50, the unicorn, and it says psychic gifts, spiritual intuition, and trust. So this is highlighting, first of all, our spirituality and the things that are important to us personally to honour our spirituality or our spiritual needs. So whether that be go to church, go out into nature, get out our cards or our journal, meditate, garden, create, whatever it is that you find assists you with your connection on a spiritual level, that helps you feel or tap into something that's more, that's higher than the physical realm, then this is certainly favourable for Wednesday, let's say, is to practice our spiritual things or reconnect with those things in some way. Now, on a physical life level, so in our life, this card also reminds us very strongly about trust and trusting our intuition as we move forward in life. So it could be trusting that we need to go to this place or call this person or do this thing or not do this thing. It's like Tuesday night, I was ready to do something and then I just felt I didn't want to do it at that time. And in hindsight now, just as 24 hours kind of passed, I'm glad I didn't do it, because I just really felt that I didn't want to do it at the time, even though I planned to. And it's not anything that's a big deal, but it was just a really subtle thing that I'm really glad I didn't proceed with as planned. So I think sometimes things change and plans change, and things are shifting very quickly at the moment too. And there's quite a lot of change in the air, let's say, and what we may have wanted to do, or the path we were going down, even if it wasn't anything major, may take a twist or a shift as things change around us. And as people change around us, it forces us to adapt and change as well. So there is this deep sense here on Wednesday about trusting our intuition and trusting where we're going in life, and trusting in the ebb and the flow and the push and the pull that we experience throughout our everyday life, and especially the smaller things at this time. So the little pockets of things that we do throughout our day, sort of really guiding ourselves intuitively through those things. So trusting our intuition is really important as we move through. We could be the most intuitive person in the world, but if we're not trusting our intuition, then our intuition is very hard to grasp. It's very hard to create or bring into our life practically. So trust gives our intuition weight. It gives it grip, so it can grip and become a practical element of our life. If we're intuitive and we're not acting on it, or we're not trusting it, then it's very hard to grip like air. So I find trusting and learning how to trust in my intuition extremely valuable, because it also helps me hone my intuition as well. So just think about that. If your intuition's strong but it doesn't really work for you, maybe you're not trusting it as much as you could be. So Thursday, the 20th of April, which is today for me now, we have the Zebra card 22, and it says alternative options. So let's be careful of looking at a situation on Thursday as black and white, or as devastating and how is this going to work out sort of thing. There is this sense here of softening our gaze and trying not to see things as good and bad or black and white, but actually let the colours really blend and merge and overlap a little bit. That there are actually other options. There are solutions that we can potentially tap into. So if we've had, for example, some news that has shocked us and it's like taken us by surprise recently, then we may feel quite devastated and shocked, and we may find that we're not really thinking solution based yet. So we might be thinking black or white, this is good or bad sort of thing. But the zebra is about softening that if we can and when we're ready to start thinking in a more solution and in some ways positive, a more solution-based way in regards to a situation that we're dealing with on Thursday, that there might be options. This might not be as devastating as we think. This may be an opportunity for us or for others to step up, for example. So there may be, it reminds me actually a bit of like, say, winter, the winter ground being covered in snow and ice and all the plants are basically dead or dormant. And then as the snow melts, that first little sprout that pops through, or that seed that germinates through the snow or through the cold ground, and just that sort of glimmer of hope, that kind of solution, that idea that winter won't last forever, you know, that sort of thing. Because when we get information or change or a shock of some sort that takes us by surprise, it can feel like winter sets in and it's going to be that way forever. But, you know, the seasons change, things move in cycles, and new life will sprout again. So we're being encouraged to not hold on to the winter cold, if you like, of a situation for longer than what it needs to be. So it could just be a few hours or a few days where we just come to terms with the truth of the surprise, and then we start looking for the seeds within the cold ground that we thought was cold, but maybe actually this is an opportunity. So there are options, and we're being encouraged to be solution orientated, especially Thursday, but around this time, really. Hi everybody. Okay, Friday the 21st of April, we have these two cards. This actually gives us a lot of hope for the next year, which is interesting, coming off the back of that zebra card, where we can think things are dire, we can think things are devastating, we can think things, and some things are devastating, don't get me wrong, but the sun will come out again, the night will turn into day again, winter will turn into summer again. So that's sort of that feeling in life, but there might be situations where we think, you know, that this is the end and this is absolutely devastating. And I'm not saying it's not, because there are some devastating things happening right now. But the sun will come out again, the stars will shine again, the seeds will sprout again. So let's let ourselves move through that journey of grief or coming to terms with what happened. This is a really great pair of cards to have, especially in the long term, to give us hope. Because this is Stellar Cycle for Friday, card 55. And it talks about 1 year. So it's a timing card. It talks about the long term, or it talks about a 1 year cycle. So from around the 21st of April 2023 till around the 21st of April 2024. So this 1 year long term cycle, and it's linked with this card. And this is really a beautiful card to have here. And this is very hopeful. It's card 2, called Butterfly. And it simply says joy. So there is an uplifting, joyful, elevated feeling to this card. It brings with it peace and certainly hope. So if you're feeling this week or at this time or on Friday that there is little hope that you're feeling because things just feel very heavy and very much like winter has set in your life in general, then this is the hope. This is the sprout of that first seed that germinates after winter. These are the first signs of spring. So it's not always going to be feeling this cold and dark and gloomy and devastating and frozen for us. That hope is coming, and there is an uplifting feeling in the long term. So this gives us hope and maybe a bit of an incentive to keep moving forward instead of feeling paralyzed and halted by whatever's been happening. Saturday, the 22nd of April, we have card 17, the Raven. Haven't seen the Raven for a while. This says to face your shadow with honesty. So face the shadows. So this probably represents those frozen, shadowy parts of our life right now, and ourselves and our relationships, and the things that we've perhaps been ignoring or avoiding or distracting ourselves from. And these may stir up and come to the surface around Saturday for us to look at and face honestly. Why do we feel this way? Why can't we accept what happened? Especially something that's happened that's not massively devastating and that hasn't been recent. You know, if you've just recently had a loss, for example, this may not apply to you because you're still working things out at your own pace. But if something's happened and it was a while ago, or something's happened that's taken you by surprise, but it's not life or death kind of thing for you really in a real sense, then this is about looking honestly at the things that are pinning us down and holding us back. Why are we reacting like this? Why do we feel scared? When have we felt this way before? What can we learn from this? These sorts of things, to face those parts of ourselves we've been avoiding or ignoring or distracting ourselves from as honestly and openly as we can, so that we can heal and so that we can defrost that frozen ground that we might feel that we're walking on right now, where things feel a bit frozen, things feel like they're on hold, things feel dire, things feel like there's not much hope. That sort of thing. So I feel that this represents that defrosting of the ground that some of us may feel that we're walking on by looking at the ground, by looking at the shadow as honestly as we can. What is the role that we're playing in this? Are we contributing to how we feel more than what we realise? What is being reflected back to us? So asking ourselves questions, I like doing that in my journal especially. Asking questions and then really feeling honestly for the answers can be really revealing. So I recommend that if that's helpful for you. Okay, Sunday, the 23rd of April. We've got our other featured timing card. There are 4 of these in the deck. There is the 1 day, the 1 day, the 1 month, the 3 month cycle, and then the 1 year. So we've got the 1 year and the 3 month cycle that's come up. This is card 54, called Seasonal Cycle, and it talks about a 3 month cycle now. So within the long term, within the year cycle that we've already talked about, we're now looking at a 3 month cycle. So we're looking at, let's say, all of May, all of June, all of July. So yeah, around the 23rd-ish of July is from now until then this card, or these cards, are applicable in general. So for the next couple of months, we're in a cycle. And this is a really good card to get here as well, the Ladybug card 31. And it says that this is a favourable time. This is a good luck card in the deck. So this is good luck. This is the Midas touch. This is things working out. This is a solution. This is abundance. This is opportunities. This is good health. This represents renewed relationships. So there is a good vibe feeling here with this card, and this is really hopeful as well. And it's talking about, well, bringing this energy through for the next couple of months. So again, all the arrows are pointing to a shift in our attitude, especially out of the frozen ground or the shadows, the feeling hopeless, feeling pessimistic, and moving towards hope. That things are shifting, things are uplifting, that things are good, things are maybe better than we think. We're told things are terrible. We really are. We're told things are terrible, things are dire, we are all struggling. Yet, actually, when we look around, there is a lot of abundance that we probably do have. Even just having a phone is a really abundant thing, and a really great thing that we have access to so many connections like this and so much information. that we can do there right at our fingertips. And this device, this phone in itself, is an abundant source. So to have a phone right now, like, you know, that's something to be pretty grateful for. So I think sometimes we've got to be careful that we're not buying into the doom and gloom and the world-ending kind of mentality that just keeps cycling through generation after generation, and it seems to be year after year these days, that we're not buying into that too much, the doom and gloom and the devastation and the lack of hope in the world, because there is a lot to be grateful for, and there is a lot that we do have that is valuable, personally valuable to us. We might not have $1 million in the bank, and we might not really need it, frankly. Having a phone is probably almost equivalent to that in many ways. So if we have that luxury and we have a roof over our head and we have food to eat, let's work the rest out. Things might not be as gloomy and doomy and life-ending and world-ending as what we might be led to believe. So let's just keep real about our reality and not what we're being told that we have then come to believe. So I'm seeing here both having the butterfly with the stellar cycle and the ladybug with the seasonal cycle shows that actually in the long term there is a lot to look forward to. There is a lot of hope there that we can tap into, and a lot of solution that is to be found if we can get out of that pessimistic, shadowy, frozen ground, there's no point kind of attitude. So just something maybe to think about. So with this, and we keep flowing on here, because on Monday the 24th of April we have the dolphin called Action Taking, and it's card 10. It says move on, horizon, forward, and let go. This is letting the door close on old parts of our life that haven't been working, and it could be to do with our doom and gloom attitude as well, just adding that in there a bit now, but closing the door on that stuff that does not resonate and is not real and truthful for us, to let that go, close that door. And on general things too in our life, perhaps maybe there are things we need to change or end that we've been putting off for whatever reason. So Monday and around the time as this energy shifts through would be probably quite favourable to look at closing doors so that we can open some new ones, to let the sun set on old parts of our life so that the sun could rise on new parts of our life and new lands that are out there for us to explore. And change is a part of that. In fact, change is the essence of that. As things change and things cycle through, and if we're holding on because we're scared of the change, then that may be part of the problem. If we're trying to keep the door propped open with our foot instead of closing it when we know we need to close it, but we might be scared to. Let's see what would happen if we took our foot out of the door and we let that door close. Because there's only so much room in our life for things. So if our life is like a wardrobe and our wardrobe is full, like it's literally full and we can barely even get the doors closed, then we've got no room for anything new to come in. So if we want change and we want new things and we want new friendships and we want new connections and we want a new life, we have to be willing to clear out that old wardrobe, that old cupboard, and close that old door and let the sun set on these parts of our life that have expired now, where the time has come that we need to move forward and move into new experiences. So the sun wants to shine on this new land before us, new potential that's available. And there is certainly hope here. There is a strong feeling of hope, a really strong pull, because I can feel it as a pull, like almost like a tug here on the heart, like a tug of golden thread, but it's more like a rope. It's so strong. This golden rope tug of hope for the future. So please revive yourself if you've been feeling doomy and gloomy about life and about the world and you've been feeling hopeless. See what you can do this week to revive yourself, because there's a lot of hope that's coming through, and certainly it's not the time to give up. And when we give up, then the doom and gloom has won. Really. So if there's more of life that calls you and more of life that you want to live, then revive yourself, wake yourself up. Work through the problems that you've got now so you can come out the other side. Close some doors. Do something drastic perhaps sometimes is needed to really make some changes and to stir things up and get you moving onto that new land that's shining so brightly, calling you. So action taking. This has got a lot of movement, a lot of action required. And by the time we get to Monday, some of us might feel, maybe even sooner than Monday, we might feel ready to move, ready to act, ready to wake ourselves up and move into life again. And on Tuesday, the 25th of April, we have the Macaw card 12. It says bold and daring communication. So once we figure out what we need to do, once we shift out of that frozen ground kind of energy and we start tapping into hope, maybe slowly at first, and then it gets louder and louder and we build on it and we notice, hey, actually there is a lot to be grateful for. Maybe things aren't as doomy and gloomy as what I thought or what I believed. So once we come to terms with that, it almost feels like inwardly first, once we what are the words I'm looking for here? Once we decide for ourselves what we want to do and what we want to revive in our life, then this is about sort of the communication. This is about talking about it. And it's not like we don't talk about it beforehand, because we probably will. But there is a feeling here now we're ready to boldly and confidently and daringly communicate and move into that new territory. We're ready to get the ball rolling. We're ready to get things happening. We're ready to take the prop out from that old door and close it. We're ready to make some phone calls and create some opportunities for ourselves. We're ready to put in those applications that we've been thinking of but talking ourselves out of. We're ready to proceed. And see, it's interesting because it all comes from this very first card, the unicorn. As we trust our intuition, which is the third eye chakra here, we trust it. It's like an arrow that wants us to move forward and move out of the doldrums and the doom and gloomy and the frozen winter that feels permanent. Move out of that stuff to really crack through and break the ice of the parts of our life and the parts of ourselves and our relationships that have become sort of encased in ice and frozen in ice and have become cold and lifeless. That almost like this unicorn's, the alicorn wants to grow so we can trust our intuition and pierce that frozen ice that we've encased ourselves in and encased our life in. To pierce that for ourselves and push through and move into spring ourselves, move into that energy of spring, that warmth, that hope, that life that spring brings. That it's up to us to trust our intuition and pierce through that. To help ourselves, really. So, interesting. Another quite deep, potentially deep week, if we're willing to explore such things and find the truth for ourselves. So I trust this resonates with you and supports you this week. I am going to pull a theme card in just a moment, but before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment, please share if you're inspired to. And if you would like to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. If you're new to watching on Facebook, please hit the follow button. And if you're new to watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you would like to learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, including grabbing yourself a deck of my card decks, or I've got some new earrings, not these, I've claimed these, but I've got some new porcelain earrings that I've made and some new ceramic things on my ceramics website, which is leannepeters.com. But you can learn more about Temple of Balance, my cards and all that sort of thing at templeofbalance.com.au. Okay, let's look for our best theme card. I love the theme card. The theme card I like to keep in mind for the week, and it will help bring this whole week together. What is our theme? In other words, what is the bigger picture? The bigger picture for this week, the 19th to the 25th of April, 2023. Our best theme card for this week for the majority of us. Whew. Okay, is this another Animal Kingdom? Well, speaking of cards we haven't seen for a while, I cannot remember the last time this card actually came up. It's the wolf. It's the female wolf, the she-wolf. It's card 21, and she is, it says here, the keywords are your battle companion. So first of all, this is a support card. And it's reminding us all that we are not alone as we walk through this wintry sort of time and into spring. We are not alone as we recognize the parts of ourselves and our life and our relationships that have frozen, that we need to find courage to pierce through. And it might be that a relationship has frozen somehow because something just feels uncomfortable between the two of you, let's say, and you want to resolve it because you're thinking about it a lot and it concerns you, but you haven't done anything about it. So in a situation like that, it might be sort of piercing through that, imagining that you've got ice around you, if that resonates with you, piercing through that, maybe with like the unicorn's alicorn, that is your third eye, your intuition and your trust in forward momentum that you're making. And make a phone call, see that person, clear the air, resolve something, maybe confront something. Maybe there's something that needs confronting. And it may, who knows where the cards will fall with that? Who knows which side of the coin is going to, it's going to fall on. It's like flipping a coin. We don't know how things are going to turn out. But it's sometimes better to get the energy moving and get things known, get things happening, than just stay frozen with something that consumes you with worry and concern. So it might be the courage that's needed and the support from this wolf card coming in to support us to find the courage to make our move, to take steps to resolve things or confront things or whatever it might be that on those areas of our life that are frozen right now. Now this card also, it's an interesting, what am I trying to say? When I drew this card, I had something specific visually in my mind. And that is that this wolf is like our companion as we walk through the minefield of our life right now. And I visualize this because I'm a very visual person, because I'm an artist, that as we walk on our life's path, it's like at this time, some of us might feel that we've gone down into a minefield. So we might be walking along our path and then we go down. It feels like a dip down in the earth, like a lower area, and we're moving down into this minefield. And it can be really difficult to navigate because we don't know where the mines are and we don't know if we're going to tread on them. We don't know if we're going to destroy this part of our life or ourselves. There may also be, a big fear of change and endings that comes up, but we're very hesitant to step. We're very hesitant to walk. We're very hesitant to say much because we might tread on a landmine, and that is something we perhaps fear. So with that visual in mind, when I created this card and drew this actual wolf, I saw her as like a dog or a wolf that is by our side and is helping us navigate through the minefield of our life right now, so that we can come up from that lower ground and back up onto our path again. Not that we're off the path, but back up out of the minefield. So there's a couple of things to think about with this, perhaps, that might resonate with you. One is that the minefield space is temporary, and this can be such a relief feeling. And in fact, for me, when I remind myself that things are temporary, I actually want to get through them as quickly as I can, as possible. Sometimes I can't go as quickly as I want, but I want to get through, I want to walk through then so I can get to the other side and get out of that place and out of that space, instead of being paralyzed and just kind of torturing myself while I'm in this temporary difficult period. So it's temporary, and if you need to, perhaps reassure yourself that what you're going through right now is temporary and you are getting through it one step at a time. You're trying your best to navigate your way through, and you're taking one step but also one day at a time, and then you will come back out the other side. This is always temporary, the minefield like this, unless we paralyze ourselves and we freeze ourselves there, and we might stay there for some time. But it doesn't have to be that way. So it's up to us to crack the ice and get ourselves moving again. So it's temporary, and we have the support that we need. If we look around, the support that we can offer ourselves to navigate our way through the minefield right now. And the minefield, even though it feels like it's full of death and destruction and devastation, it's actually full of great potential for healing, for change, for growth, and for showing ourselves what we actually can and are capable of, what we can achieve. That we can come out this other side feeling like we've accomplished something, feeling like we've changed and grown and moved through something in a really positive way, something that we might even wonder if we can even survive it, because it can be life and death. Treading on a landmine can be death. So, it can be life and death in this space. So it's not easy. But if we can find the courage to crack that ice to begin with and then move and work our way through and just trust in our intuition and trust in the support we have and take the steps that we need to, so that we can get out that other side as quickly as humanly possible, then that's the feeling. And that's our theme for this week. So ultimately it's support, but then there's more information there if that resonates with your situation and what you're going through. Lots of support this week. So it's up to us. So thanks so much for connecting. Have a great rest of your day and a great week ahead. And I'll be back to share with you again very soon. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.